You know, the folks running our hospitals? They're about to change. A lot. And I'm not just talking about a few new faces in the boardroom. We're talking about a complete reinvention of what a healthcare leader even is. A brand new forecast gives us a peek into the C-suite of 2026. And trust me, it looks very different from today. So let's dive in. So what does this new leader actually look like? Well, forget about small tweaks and minor adjustments. We are on the edge of a massive evolution, and it's being driven by this perfect storm of smarter technology, brand new financial pressures, and, patients who expect way more than they ever have before. And you might think this is all some far-off, futuristic idea, right? Wrong. It is happening as we speak. I mean, just look at this number from CMS. Over half, more than half of traditional Medicare patients are already in a system that pays for value, not just for the volume of procedures. This isn't some trend on the horizon. It's the new reality that's forcing leadership's hand. They have to evolve, and they have to do it fast. All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start with the big picture forecast. Then we're going to dig into 3 core pillars that are completely reshaping leadership, making operations smarter and faster, building these radically integrated leadership teams, and designing a system that's truly centered on people. And then we'll pull it all together to see what the new executive playbook looks like. Okay, before we jump in, a really quick but important note here. What we're about to look at isn't some wish list, and it's not just what a handful of fancy hospitals are doing. This forecast is all about the trends that are on track to become the new normal, the new standard, across most health systems in the US by the end of 2026. Let's kick things off with the engine room of any hospital, its operations. We're not talking about small improvements here. This is a radical upgrade. Technology, combined with this relentless need for speed, is forcing a complete rebuild of the operational core. It's got to be smarter, and it's got to be faster than ever before. And inside this big operational shift, there are really 4 key things happening. First, leaders have to be way more agile. Second, they're taking direct ownership of AI. Third, data is becoming the language everybody speaks. And fourth, leaders are getting their hands dirty, embedding themselves right in the day-to-day operations. I mean, just look at this number. There is a 90% probability that for a healthcare leader in 2026, success is going to come down to one thing: agility. It's all about being able to thrive when things get chaotic, to adapt on the fly. You can forget about those rigid 5-year plans. The future is all about being able to pivot, like right now. So what does agility really look like for a CEO? It's not just some corporate buzzword. It's about changing the way you operate, fundamentally. They're constantly running what-if scenarios. They're shrinking decision-making time from months down to days, and they're actively training their entire organization to seek constant change as the new normal. All right, next up, AI governance. And there's an 80% chance this becomes a huge deal. Now, this is a massive shift. For decades, tech was kind of the CIO's problem to deal with. Not anymore. Now the entire C-suite is on the hook. The ethics, the risks, the ROI for AI, that's all a core executive responsibility now, just as important as balancing the budget. And what's the fuel for all this change? Well, it's data. The forecast gives it a 70% probability of becoming the literal operating system for the entire leadership team. We're moving way beyond just being data-informed. The goal now is to have leadership that is completely data-driven, in real time. And this right here, this is a perfect snapshot of what that really means. I want you to imagine a hospital CEO starting their day not with a flood of emails, but with a live dashboard showing patient flow, predicting staffing shortages for the night shift, and even flagging potential insurance denials before they can even happen. That's the level of control we're talking about. Okay, so you've got this super smart, super fast operational engine. But what good is that if the people driving it are stuck in the past? That brings us to our second pillar. It's all about smashing those traditional silos and completely rethinking what a leadership team even looks like. So here's what we're going to cover: how teams are becoming truly integrated, why C-suites are getting leaner, the rise of these new hybrid executive roles, and, this one's critical, why every single leader has to be fluent in the language of patient care. Man, this slide really gets to the heart of it. There's a 75% chance we're just killing the old departmental scorecard. Instead, the entire leadership team is going to live and die by one single set of metrics. The head of nursing's bonus might depend on the hospital's finances, and the CFO's success will be tied directly to patient outcomes. Everyone's rowing in the same direction, right? Because when you think in silos, patients get fragmented care. Simple as that. And this whole restructuring is happening in a couple of key ways. First, With a 70% probability, leadership teams are just getting smaller. Fewer layers, more accountability, which means faster decisions. And at the same time, the roles themselves are expanding. You might see one executive running both strategy and marketing, or maybe operations and IT. The new mantra is basically be lean, be versatile. So you've got this lean, mean leadership team, you've got a smarter operational core. So what's it all for? Where does all that energy and focus go? Well, that brings us to our final pillar. It all comes back to people, the patients, the employees, and the community partners who make the whole system work. And the trends here are really powerful. Things like patient and employee experience are becoming top-level metrics. The focus is shifting from just hiring people to totally redesigning the work they do. And leadership is moving from this old model of top-down control to one of real collaboration, all built on that foundation of value-based care.
Okay, this one is huge. With an 80% probability, things like patient satisfaction and employee burnout, they are no longer these soft metrics. They're becoming hard numbers right on the boardroom dashboard, and they're being directly tied to executive bonuses. And why does this matter so much? It's simple, really. Burned out employees make more mistakes, and they quit. And a bad patient experience, that hits your reputation and your bottom line. It all connects.
And this focus on people, it's completely flipping the script on workforce strategy. This slide shows that evolution perfectly. Think about it. The old way was just this frantic scramble to plug holes and fill open jobs. The new way is to actually redesign the work itself, using automation to get rid of tedious tasks, totally rethinking roles, and upskilling your staff to build a much more sustainable system from the ground up. And tying this all together, the financial model that makes it all work is value-based care. The forecast gives it a 60% chance of becoming the default way of doing business. So what does that mean? It's actually pretty simple. It means hospitals get paid for keeping you healthy, not just for doing more stuff to you. It finally aligns the money with the patient's best interest. All right, so let's tie this all together, shall we? You take those smarter operations, you add in the integrated teams, and you focus all of it on a human-centered mission. What you get is a completely new playbook for how to be a healthcare leader. When you boil it all down, it really comes down to three things. The 2026 leader has to operate smarter and faster by mastering data, AI, and agility. They have to lead in a truly integrated way, breaking down those old walls and blending roles together. And, most importantly, they have to build a system that is relentlessly, unapologetically focused on people and the value they deliver. And that leaves us with one last, kind of exciting question to think about. If this is where we're headed, if we are really building a new generation of healthcare leaders who are this agile, this integrated, and this data-driven, what's the next unsolvable problem in healthcare that they can finally crack?